Hi, everyone. Welcome to one more webinar of the Career Secrets Week for Java developers. I hope you're okay. So I'm already having people sending wrong messages on the chat. So hi, everyone. I hope you're hearing me fine. So if you can, if you're hearing me fine, just say hello on the chat. Say okay. Say the sound is good, whatever you want. But just give us an idea if you can hear us fine, if you can see us fine. Loiane is already here, and we're just gonna, give us just 1 second here so you guys can respond and see, and then we can start. So today we're gonna talk about the 5 bugs that we Java developers that we make that prevent us from improving our career. And we have an amazing guest here today. So sounds is good. Thank you. Hello, Beta. Hello, Nishant. Hello, Doug. Milton. There's lots of people here. Jonathan. Abnur, thanks everyone. There's Vinicius, Felipe, Balzur, Cal, and there's lots of cool people around. So hello everyone. Hello Jonathan. So first of all, hello Loiane. I'm going to talk about you in a minute, but hello, just a quick hello.
Hi Bruno.
Hi everyone. Okay, so thanks everyone. Now you're here with us. And one of the things that we are trying to do is having messages that's good for Java developers around the world. So and we're doing this webinar trying to find a good time spot that we can reach everyone. We're doing mid of the day in Brazil. It's going to be early in the day in the US, late in the day in Europe, start of the night in Asia. So tell us, where are you from? So do we have people from all those places? It's everyone from just a few places or so. Tell us where you're from. Type in the chat where you're from so we can have a little conversation. You already see where the chat is, and it's really, really important that you already found where the chat is, and you can send us messages. So you have Milton from Brazil and India. Thanks, Nishant from India. And the cool thing is that this is very, very interactive, right? So we're gonna be answering your questions. So Binyan is from Germany, Berlin, Pedro's from Brazil, Balzur is from Bangladesh. Thanks everyone for joining here. So we're gonna be talking with you all the time. So feel free to type your questions anytime. So Abdul in Germany, it's 5 p.m. Yes. So it's sort of like kind of the end of the day. Hope you're able to either get home quick or you're still at work doing this. Yeah. So yes, people from all over the world. Thanks a lot for everyone for joining us here. I'm talking from São Paulo, Brazil. Where are you, Loiane?
I'm also here in São Paulo, Bruno.
Okay, that's cool. All right. So you're typing the chat. Ask questions, right? If you can help us a little bit, once you type your question, you can click on the little, it looks like a little balloon, like a voice balloon this side, and it turns your question into a question, right? In a question mark, and it's going to be orange, so we're not going to miss your question, right? So if you have any, if you feel free to make comments all the time. Lots of people are going to be watching, but since me and Loiane are going to be talking here, if you mark your question as a question, it's going to be easier for us to see, okay? And but feel free to comment. We're going to try to answer everything that you have to say. We have people from Vinicius from Salvador, Bahia in Brazil. Very, very cool place. I love Bahia. My wife is from Salvador, so it's an amazing place to be. Jonathan's in Brazil. So, we have people from all over the world. Thank you very, very much for each of joining here. So this week, we are discussing a little bit about, so Vinicius said there's some problem with video. So if anyone has any problem with video, let Vinicius, let us know on the chat. I hope everything is fine. This is Google Hangout. One of the tips that we have to give people from time to time is that if you're having any problem with audio or video, it's it helps if you use Chrome browser, but it should work anywhere, right? That's the focus that should work anywhere. Now, and we did have a problem with video last time. my camera crashed in the middle of the webinar, right? So I had to switch cameras. So it could happen, right? Let us know if anything goes wrong, if you think if this audio is wrong, bad, or video is bad, just let us know. Okay, so without any more delays, let me quickly introduce you to our guest, right? I'm gonna, so here's how we're gonna work. We're gonna start talking about, we're gonna talk here about the 5 bugs that we Java developers make that prevent us from our career. We have Loiane Groner here with us, and she'll be, giving her experiences and comment on everything, and you can feel free to ask questions. So our guest is very, very special. Loiane is one of the top Java celebrities in Brazil, and she's an international speaker. She's been giving speakers all over the world, and she is an amazing and prolific writer. She has like 7 books published. It's been translated to many different languages. She has a Java, like several courses online. I don't even know how many courses she has online, but she has several courses online. She has more than 8,000 students going through her courses. So, maybe you are one of her students and you're here to talk directly with her. And not only that, she has more than 30,000, nearly 30,000 subscribers to her YouTube channel. Like people like you and me, we have 500 people watching our videos, and we're like, yeah, I have 500 people watching my video. She has 30,000 subscribers to her channel, right? So we want to learn what she does to get all of these things, because it's really important for our careers, right? So hello, Loiane, how are you?
Hey, Bruno, I'm doing great. You?
Doing very fine. So do you wanna, some initial words for us to about what you do and how can you help us here?
I've been working with Java for 10 years now, so it's a long road. I have been studying Java before that. As everyone, there is a long learning curve.
Mm-hmm.
And always been a Java developer, but I also work with other technologies. I'm focused on the full stack development for enterprise applications. So I also work with a little bit of HTML5 and JavaScript to build the applications. And on my free time, I have a 9-to-5 job as well. So I'm just a regular person. And in my free time, I record videos for the YouTube channel and index the videos on my training portal, which is loiane.training.
Okay, very cool. I'm gonna type Loiane's website here in a minute, so everyone can have access to it. So so Loiane, I'm gonna start here with the five bugs that we Java developers make, right? And some of them I know you don't make anymore, but maybe when we started you did make that. But so let's and then we can just use this as background so we can talk about things. So let's start here, guys, with the 5 bugs that we Java developer make that prevent us from improving our career. So the first one that I like to call, that I like to point out is not practicing our tools. Right? Not practicing our tools. That's our first bug. Actually, we're counting down here, so it's bug number 5, right? So bug number 5 is not practicing the tools. It's very, very normal that developers, we learn a little bit of this, learn a little bit of that. We like our IDE, or we have to use our application server, and we just approach all those tools that we use as normal users, right? We know a little bit, and we know the most important things, but we don't practice. And one of the things that we have is that our brain, it tries to save energy all the time, right? Because it takes too much energy from our body, and so it tries to save energy all the time. So our brain doesn't keep the information ready for us. If it's every time it has to retrieve information, it spends energy, right? So it tries not to be retrieving information all the time. It just kind of focuses on the things that you're doing at the time. And the thing is, if you're writing your code, right? So you're there in that moment of you being awesome, right? You're writing your code, you're writing that thing that's going to go to production. You're changing someone's life by writing code, being creative. And while you're doing this, you have to, what is the key that I need to press to refactor this? Or, oh, what do I need to press to autocomplete? Oh, how do I start the application server? Every time you're not practicing enough about the tools you use, your brain has to stop thinking about the creative thing that you want to do, stop thinking about your project, stop thinking about the logic that you're trying to create, and have to divert and try to figure out the thing that you didn't learn yet. And so you get out of what we call the flow, right? You're gonna think about something else. You break your line of thought, and it's really delay. You get much less productive. And this is true for a lot of things. And it's true for the language. Sometimes you're like, oh, how do I write Lambda, or how do I write a loop that loops through some kind of collection. I mean, every time you have to stop and think about how you do something, you just kind of break your creative moment, and you slow down, and then it's hard for you to get back again. Your brain has to shuffle things around and try to find where you were before. Of course, all of this happens really quick, right? So you think you're not losing time, you think you're not losing your train of thought, but really your brain's losing all this. So it's really, really important that we practice our technology, that we practice the things that if you are a singer, many of you are a musician, lots of developers are musicians. So if you're a musician, would you start practicing your music at the moment you go to your show? Or do you practice a lot, so when you go to your show, the whole music is like second nature? You don't need to think about the guitar. You don't need to think about the lyrics. You don't need to think about the dancing. You don't need to think about any of that. You can enjoy the show, and you can be there for your audience. That's exactly what we need to do as developers. We need to practice our tools. We need to practice our day-to-day things in such a way that when we're doing our show, that is when we're writing our code, we can just do it without being, we can just focus on what you need. So, Gabriel asks us here if, how about people who learn to program without learning algorithm, right? That is a very good question, Gabriel. It's, of course you can learn. It doesn't matter really what you learn first, right? You, depending on what you did in your life, you maybe went to a university to learn how to program. Maybe you're like Pedro that learned to program with 11 years old, right? So when you're 11 years old, are you going to learn algorithms, right? He probably just learned a language and just start typing things up. That's not a problem. The thing is, once you learn, you got to practice. You got to be very good. For example, if you need algorithm in your day-to-day things, do things with algorithms, right? Experiment with algorithms. There's one very cool thing that is we call code katas. There's like the kata from martial arts. Code katas are the idea that you repeat things a lot to get your to actually get all that repetition into your brain, so your brain doesn't need to think when you're doing for real. So, Loiane, do you practice a lot your development? Do you do any kind of exercises? Do you experiment when you experiment with new language or new tools? Do you take time to practice your tools?
Yes, Bruno. I usually like to create a simple project, but not just like a hello world, so I can practice more functionalities and learn more functionalities and features from the language or technology. So I usually create a project, I invent a project, and I try to develop that. I already have now one that whenever I'm trying new web technologies, I have a sample, so I try to do that same sample with several technologies. But this, what you said, it's very important. I went through that when I first started learning algorithm. I was in college, and I had a difficulty at the beginning when I was starting to learn. I didn't know how to program. I didn't know what was to program and what was an algorithm. And I stopped and I said to myself, I need to practice this. And
Right.
back then, we didn't have YouTube and all of these internet examples. So I went to college websites, downloaded exercise lists, and I tried to do several. And so I could finally learn how to program. So repetition, it's the key word, and practice, practice, and practice until you are comfortable with that.
Yeah, you said something very, very good. You know, repetition, and it's funny that when you, especially when you go to university or even when you go to normal courses, we learn to do one thing, and you know we learn that, and then we move to the next thing, right? Can you imagine if a musician was like that? He learns to play a song one time and just moves to the next song, right? A musician repeats things many times, right? Anything that any profession that is a creative profession, you need this repetition, because repetition puts things in your brain. Your brain automates internally how to do things, so you don't think anymore. Is so this is really important. Now, one of the questions that we had here on the call on Saturday, Loiane, was, you know, what do you do if your company doesn't give you the time to practice? So my question to you is, does your company gives you like time? You know, do you have a few hours a week, or that you can practice, or is there any way that you practice in the job, or you only practice at home in the weekends? How do you do that?
It depends on the situation. It also depends on the deadline. Sometimes we have to deliver something really fast, and we don't have that time to stop and learn something new. So what I usually do, well, we have free nights and a free weekend. So I
Right.
usually do that time. And as a developers, this profession is a profession that we have to learn forever. You have every year or every month, you have something new to study. So you have to be aware of that, and you have to be able to do this, to learn something new in your free time, not only for your job, to learn something that you will need in your job, but also to improve your resume and become a better professional, because there are several new technologies framework that are being released, and you don't have to become an expert in all of them, but at least you have to know what they do, what it's about, so you have an idea, and when you need it, you can really study and focus on that.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So so there's a question here from Beta, and you know, what is the thing concept you found was tough to crack or to learn in Java, and what did you do to overcome? Do you remember like the hardest thing that you had to go through?
In my case, was the object-oriented programming, and encapsulation was one of the most difficult things for me to understand. I didn't understand why you had to have a private attribute in a class and create getters and setters. That didn't make sense at a time. And then I did what I mentioned before. I created a project and I started practicing, and then just eureka, it made sense. But
Yes.
I spent a good time trying to learn that.
That's pretty cool. So I also have my biggest problem was object oriented. I do talk about this in my talks a lot. Is that object orientation is not easy to grasp. Maybe people that started with it could be easier, but I started programming in Pascal and Clipper, right? So and before that, I had some, you know, we type assembler from magazines to create games, right? And so so for me, when it came to object-oriented development, for me it was really hard to understand that. And I own my understanding to the Gang of Four book. I've read that book, you know, for a whole year. I've read that book many times. And every time I read it, it made no sense, right? So I would read it and say, you know, it doesn't make any sense. What is that for? And then after reading many times and after looking a lot of code and things like that, suddenly it's like, oh, that makes sense. I understand that now. And in the book, I think there is a version of the Gang of Four book that's has Java examples, and that one didn't even have Java examples. So it's like, you even had to match that to Java. So for me, that object orientation was the big thing. So there's other questions here. There's some other questions here that we're going to get to when we talk about other things. So I'm not going to answer all the questions right now. Okay. Now, there's one last question here that has to do with practicing. Well, let me move to another issue, because there's people asking here, about technology, how to get up to date, and people are asking about other languages, Scala, Kotlin, other things like that. So let me go to the second bug that we Java developers make that prevent us from improving our career, and this is focusing only on the technology. You can see lots of the questions here, and every time we start talking, every time we start talking about practicing the technology, we can spend the whole day talking about this, because we love the technology. We love Java. We love programming. We love all of these. So we want to learn new technologies, new languages, and new frameworks, and new application servers, and new tools, and technology. We want to learn new things. Of course, it's our job to learn, right? But every time we focus only on the technology, right? Every time the only thing we do is focus on the technology, we miss the huge opportunities that exist out there, right? We miss a lot of the skills that we need. We're going to talk about lots of those other things with the other bugs, but we miss a lot of the skills that we need to have, to actually grow in our career. So as one specific example, a lot of people think, there's a question here about certification. Is essential for career to have a certification? A lot of people, it's like, oh no, I need to learn technology. I need to be certified. I'm going to be certified in this and that and this and this and this and that, and blah, 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 because when I go to a job interview, I want to get the best jobs out there. I want to be, every time someone calls me to an interview, if I like the company, I want to get that job because I want to work on the best project ever. So I'm going to focus completely on the technology. I'm going to be certified in everything, and I'm just going to focus on the technology only. And then what happens? The true thing is that the best job offers are not put online or newspapers or anything. The best job offers are offered to people that the company has access to even before the offer is shows up online somewhere. So most of the great job offers, they are filled by someone that was suggested by someone in the team, someone that the hiring manager knew about, someone that was contacted to come work for the company before the job offer appears anywhere. I have lots of friends, actually several of my friends that changed job this year, for example, their position was only sent to HR to be put online after they have been contacted and accepted. So the position was just like officially put on the job database, but the person that's going to fill that position was already contacted and already accepted. So every time you focus only on technology and you forget that you need to do some networking, you need to be visible, you need to do things that you need to participate on social media, you need to do other things. Every time you only focus on technology, you actually miss most of the opportunities that you could have, and then your career doesn't grow because all you're doing is learning, and technology, and you're not doing other things that are important for you. So Loiane has an amazing example, right? I'm not sure if she had any experience with job offers or thing like that. Maybe she did, but she's an amazing example because besides all the work she does, all the learning she does, all the things she does, she is a teacher that has several online courses. She has 8,000 students. She has a YouTube channel that has 30,000 subscribers. I mean, she's doing way more than just the technology. She's going there and learning all these other things and talking with people and going to events and being a speaker. that's why, you know, she's like a full professional, like she is. Because if she only focuses on technology, she doesn't do all the other things, then, you know, she wouldn't have the visibility needed. So Loiane, have you, you know, I know you are amazing in the things that you do and how you reach out to people and how you share your knowledge and things like that. So, you know, do you have any, can you tell us a little bit about this, how doing more than just the technology was actually helpful for you?
Yeah, something curious, Bruno, that you mentioned. Actually, all the job positions that I got was because someone knew me. I went through some interview process, but at the end, it was because someone knew me and could, okay, you can hire her. And that's something really important. One thing that you mentioned, I think it's very important, especially that we are a community, and the Java community especially, it's very big. We have several events. We have the Java user groups. And networking is very important. You can meet people, you can put your name out there, and you can do several things. You can share knowledge with these people. If you're not a speaker, you can go to your Java user group and say, hey, can you give me the opportunity to host a session? I want to talk about this. I want to share the experience that I had in my company with a specific solution. So there are several ways that you can contribute for the community to grow. I believe that that's very important. Being part of the community helps a lot, because we are people first, and then we are professionals, and we need to have this contact. It's very important for our careers.
Yes, doing good networking, and I understand that most developers, and this, you know, we are all nerds, right? And we don't necessarily appreciate talking with people or exposing ourselves or things like this. But the truth is, if you don't do some of that, then what happens is that your career, you know, doesn't, you know, you don't have that much opportunity. Actually, I'm gonna, okay, well, I'll talk about, let me just go through these things, and then I'll show you guys one interesting thing that I posted yesterday on Twitter about, you know, how important more than technology is. But I'll keep going, and then we can come back to this. Now, you mentioned one interesting thing about sharing, right? That, you know, you got to go to user groups and present at events and share what you know. And so the third bug that we Java developers make that prevent us from improving our career is not sharing, right? It's not sharing. It's that, you know, every time that we learn something, we don't share with others, right? We keep to ourselves, or we're too afraid. We think that we don't know enough, so we don't share. Now, interesting, my point is, it's not sharing. No, I'm not talking about sharing something you don't know, right? I'm talking about sharing something that you do know. So a lot of people say, oh, how am I going to do an event? How am I going to do a talk? You know, I'm not an expert. Well, do you know the subject, or is something that you're learning, right? If you're still learning, maybe you don't know. But if you know, if you use it, I'm sure you know enough that you can share that. And it's funny that I've never seen someone that doesn't have something to share, right? People say, come on, right? I'm just started. How do I have something to share? Think about it. Let's say, you know, you're just starting with something, right? Some Java technology. Let's say something very basic, right? So, you know, maybe Java 8 came out, and you just learned Lambda, right? You download a tutorial on the internet and you learn Lambda. Now, you spend a week doing learning a tutorial and making some experiments and creating some sample code, and, you know, testing Lambda in your IDE. After 1 week of using Lambda, like for learning, I can guarantee you that you can get this 1 week of knowledge and create a 1 hour or a blog post, whatever, but you can create a 9-hour video, or you can come to your colleagues in your workspace and say, guys, I've learned in 1 hour, I've studied Lambda for a week. Can we take out 1 hour here? And I'm gonna get this 1 week of knowledge that I acquired, I'm gonna condense in 1 hour. And so now you have a very good material that will help everyone that doesn't have a week to experiment, right? So you can jumpstart them because they don't have this whole week of learning, and you can just kind of share the knowledge that you know. You just share, right? You just share what you know. It's not hard. It's not something out of this world. Sharing what you know, it's really important. Why? First of all, by sharing, you learn more, right? Every time you study and you're worried about, you're gonna do a presentation, you're gonna share a blog post, you want to make sure that everything is right, so you learn more, right? By sharing, your brain understands better what you're sharing. It's amazing, right? It's very funny how a lot of times we don't have. Actually, there's a little trick. It has nothing to do with sharing it by itself, but just so you know how your brain works. There's a little trick. Let's say that you're stuck in a problem, right? There's a bug that you can't fix. There's some problem in your work that you can't fix, right? The one thing you can do is just grab a colleague and say, let me explain to you what is going on and see if you can help me. Most times, by explaining to someone else what's going on, you're going to figure out the problem. And I've done that. Understand technology. I've got a friend, a couple of times I got a friend and say, man, I really have this problem. Hear me out. Let me just tell you what it is. And it's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Don't worry, just hear me. And I tell the person, and it helps my brain clarify things, and you learn more. Actually, there is, I don't remember who it is, but there is a famous programmer that has a Linux penguin or something. I think it's a duck. It's not a penguin, it's a duck. There's a famous programmer that has a duck, and he talks to the plastic rubber duck about his problem. He say, my problem is this, and because sharing helps you learn, right? So this is really important for you. It's not for the others, it's important for you. Now, not only this, when you share, you also get visibility. Every time you share, even if you're friends in your workplace, right? You share with everyone what you just learned this week. Your boss like, that developer right there, she is really good because she's sharing everything she learned. And so your boss pays attention to what you're doing. Your colleagues think that, they say, oh man, that guy over there, he knows everything because he's teaching us. So you get more important for your team. But you also get more important for your community, because if you go and give a talk in a job user group, if you record a video, if you write a blog post, you become more important for your community. So by sharing, you become more visible. And remember that jobs offer that we talked about earlier, that's offered for people that we think that are knowledgeable, that's visible. You start being one of the person that receive those job offers, for example, right? And it doesn't mean that you need to change your company. A lot of times it means that some, other teams in your company will say, hey, that developer, she knows the thing that we need in our project. So you can work in better project inside your own company. So you're not talking about changing companies necessarily, right? So, Loiane, you've been like an amazing sharer. I'm not even sure how you say this. You share a lot, right? You wrote books. I mean, actually, one of the hardest thing for us to do in terms of sharing is probably writing a book. So you share a lot. Has this brought you directly benefits?
Yes, a lot. When I started working for an offshore company, I started my blog in English so I could practice the language as well. And I started sharing blog posts, and this actually got me the first invite to write a book. So it was, for me, it was amazing. It was a dream come true. And then I continued sharing. I had a GitHub repository. Then I got another invite to write another book, and so on, because every time different people send me the invite from the publisher. And it changed. It completely changed my life, my career. Nobody knew me before. Now some people know who I am, and that's great. It got me better job opportunities as well. And I try to do the same at the company that I work as well. Always have some sessions, internal sessions, and share a little bit. And this is great because sometimes you might think that, oh, I'm not going to share this because otherwise, if I share, they're not going to need me anymore, and they're going to let me go. And that's not true. You share, as Bruno mentioned, you'll be able to go to better projects. People will know you, and you can achieve higher goals, better goals in your career. So that's very important.
Yes, excellent, Loiane, excellent. So Beta says here that there is that's what I mentioned here about the guy talking to the duck. It's called rubber duck debugging, and the name is a reference to a story in the book Pragmatic Programmer, in which a programmer would carry around a rubber duck and debug the code by forcing themselves. Yes, I remember reading this somewhere. Thanks a lot, Beta. And he says that in his case, the duck is his wife, right? She patiently listened to him amuse it, right? While I figure out the problem and explain the code to her. Exactly. Yes. So we have a friend of ours, that's Pedro. Pedro is 11 years old. I mean, he's not 11 years old anymore. He's 15 now, but he learned Java. He teaches himself Java when he was 11. And so one of the things that his mom told me is that, how she motivated him to keep going is that he would come to her and tell her the problems that he was having. So he would explain to her the code and why it was not working and everything. And she, she's a suitress, right? So she's, they're a very simple family, and she has no knowledge of technology of computers at all. So she said she likes to just say, "Oh yes, good," and she would ask questions about things just so he would answer, although she did not understand anything, even what she was asking. And so yes, so this kind of works very well. So thanks a lot, Better. That's good information. Thanks. So I know there's some questions here that we're gonna get to the questions in a minute. Okay. So sharing, it's really important. So now let me say the bug, number 2 bug that we Java developers make that prevents our career from growing. And this has a lot to do with sharing, because the one thing that we do a lot is that we share everything, right? Bruno said that sharing is good. Loiane changed her career because she started sharing. I'm going to share everything. And then we have no focus, right? We have absolutely no focus in our sharing. We share everything. We share the code we did last night. We share the technology we learned today. We share the food we ate last week, right? We share everything, right? Now we're gonna talk about everything, and then our focus damages a lot our career and damages a lot our effort of focus of sharing, because the truth is, and I'm gonna use this phrase. It's a phrase from a guy called Ted McGrath, and he talks about how you can reach lots of people with your message and things like that. So it's a good guide for you to look online if you want to go this route, if you want to be a speaker, for example. So Ted McGrath, actually, I'm sorry, I'm going to use Ted McGrath's phrase in a minute. But there's another guy that I don't remember his name right now, and he says that I'm gonna remember his name and say later. But he says that every time you're talking you're giving a message, right? All of us, we like to talk about us, right? Oh, hey, I'm Bruno Souza. I'm the guy with the flag. I'm throw things. You should listen to me because I'm so important. I'm just this great Java developer. Blah blah blah. And we talk a lot about us. It doesn't need to be us. We talk about our products. Oh, come to my website because my website is great, or my product is amazing. It has this, and this functionality. And we talk a lot about us. Now, the truth is, doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter if you are Loiane or if you're Bruno or any one of you. No one cares about you. Sorry about that, Loiane, but no one cares about you, right? So everyone cares about how you, Loiane, how you, Beta, how you, Victor, how you can help me to do something. That's what people care, right? So people care how you can help them achieve whatever they want to do. So they do they do care when you share some technology that they need, right? So if you talk about you, they're not interested in you, but they are interested in the things that you're going to teach them. Because when you teach them something, they will improve their careers also. They improve their knowledge. They will do, something's going to happen for them. Now, what happens about lack of focus, right, is that instead of us being very good in sharing something that we know, we try to share everything everywhere. And so everyone that comes to our website or to our blog say, what is this guy talking about? I mean, he talks about everything. I don't care about everything. I'm not going to be coming here because that doesn't help me. I don't know what this guy's talking about. I don't know what his focus is. I don't know how he helps me. So I'm going to teach you a very simple, that's the phrase from Ted McGrath, right? I forgot the name of the guy that's, he's a copywriter actually, the name of the guy that says that no one cares about you, but I'll remember in a minute. But now the phrase from Ted McGrath. Ted McGrath has a very simple, very, very simple way for you to focus your career. And I'm going to put right here, and I'm going to read to you, and I hope that you help, you're going to try to do it here. So repeat here. So you say, I help people do this so they can have that. Very, very simple. I help people, not companies, not a job, right? People. I help people do this so they can have that. So I help Java developers improve their careers so they can work on better projects, right? That's what I do. If you didn't catch so far, right? So my name is Bruno. So I didn't even tell anything about me so far, but my name is Bruno Souza, and I help Java developers improve their careers so they can work on better projects, right? So what is your phrase? What do you help people with? What is your blog focus on? What is your Twitter focus on? What's your Facebook focus on? Because, or maybe it's not your Facebook, it's a Facebook page that you run, right? What is your focus? Because this simple phrase here can completely change your career and can put you in a much, much better position, way better than any other developer that you know, right? Because this simple phrase here will focus what you're going to learn, what you're going to share, what your Twitter is going to be about, what is going to be your next video, how you're going to reach people, right? This simple. So you can think about that. If anyone want to do this, I'm willing to help out your phrase. If you want to type here in the chat, right? Just type this. Type exactly like this. Type I help do so they can have, and then fill out the blanks. I help people do this so they can have that. It's important because everyone wants to do something. Everyone wants to accomplish something, right? And everyone wants to have something. So, Loiane, do you have an idea? Or, I'm not sure that you ever made a phrase like this, maybe not, but I'm sure you do help a lot of people. Do you have an idea of the things that you do and what you help people with?
Something nice that already happened was I received an email saying that my YouTube videos helped them to get a project. It was a new technology that this person learned. And another one mentioned that he got his first job. So it was kind of priceless for me, just with small things that I could do changed someone's life. So it was really nice.
Yes, really cool. So basically, the things that you're doing are of course helping people, but do you have a specific focus? I mean, do you talk only about Java? Do you talk, actually you said you talk about full stack developer, right?
Yeah, actually there are two focus. One is Java. One is Java, and another one is on the front end with HTML5, JavaScript, and frameworks on this for the front end.
Nice, really good. So basically, when you have the focus, right? No one decided to put their phrases here, right? So, but I think you should try out. Now, when you have this focus, it's important because you know, if you go, one of the hardest thing that we have when you do networking event, for example, let's say you go to an event and you travel and you're there to meet people and everything, and then when you are at the event, you are in a line somewhere to get your food, or maybe you're just sitting down side by side with someone watching a talk, and then this person tells, hey, hello, my name is Bruno, and then you start a conversation, and then you start talking, oh, did you like the presentation? Did you like the speaker? Did you like the event? So when you part apart, you've met the person, but that person has no idea who you are and how you can help him, right? So maybe that person sitting right by you is exactly your ideal customer. It's exactly someone that needs your whatever and you didn't say anything. So this is a good phrase, even for an event, right? You say, someone says, hey, hello, what's your name? And then you can say, my name is Bruno. And you just keep going. And I help Java developers improve their careers. So now, if the guy that just said hello to you, if he's a Java developer, will he be interested in you, right? Well, if you help Java developers improve their careers, does he want to improve his career? If he does, he's interested in you. So you just got, it's someone that maybe will call you for lunch later because there's somehow you can help. That's gonna be someone who's gonna follow you on Twitter or gonna follow you on Facebook. So it's really easy if you just have focus. And a lot of people say, but Bruno, come on, if I focus in just one type of people, no one's gonna know about me, right? Because it's just gonna be very small. And lots of us think that once we have focus, lose our audience, and that's not the case. Once you have focus, you actually grow your audience. It's amazing. It's the other way around, right? So think about that and try to see if you can create some kind of focus in your life, right? I help people do this so they can have that. Ted McGrath. All right?
Bruno?
Yes?
Just complimenting, there was a question also, I believe has something to do with this as well, regarding that Java is a big ecosystem. How do you keep updated with the newest trends and newest features? And this can help you as well if you have focus. Just make a list. What do you need to learn first? What do you want to learn first? Make a list and follow that list. I'm going to learn Java Lambda. So learn that, then okay, now I'm going to see what's new with Java 9. I'm going to try to do some examples and follow that and have some in order to also keep your learning process in focus as well.
Really cool. Yes, perfect. So it's all about once you have once you have some focus, it can help you a lot about figure out what to do, what to learn, what to what is going to be your next step, what kinds of job you're looking for, what kind of blog posts you create, what kind of web presence you're going to be. So it helps you. And by the way, once you have a focus, it helps everyone remembers who you are, right? Because they're going to say, oh yeah, I know Loiane is that lady that talks about full stack developer, right? So it gets more people into your talks. It's a good way for you to actually and not having focus really delays how your career grows, right? So you should have focus. Now, one of the things that Loiane was talking about is that a lot of those things are hard. It's hard to write a book, right? And then and sharing is not easy and everything. And one of the biggest mistakes that we develop, I think that this is probably the biggest mistake that Java developers do that prevent them to grow in their career is right trying to do everything themselves, with no help from outside, no friends, and the maximum of this is I get this every week. Someone calls me to ask if I can help them out with some kind of a startup idea or something, events, everyone, lots of people come to me and say, oh, Bruno, I have this idea. And usually they start like this. Oh, Bruno, I have this idea, but I'm not sure if I can tell you. Or something like, I have this idea, can you keep it a secret? And I say, no, I can't, right? I'm a public speaker. I use my conversations as examples, right? So if there's something you want to tell me that's about your project and everything, and you want me to keep a secret, right? Hire me, right? That's a different thing. Now, because if your idea has to be kept a secret, because otherwise it's not going to work, maybe you don't have any idea at all. Because really, ideas are easy. Ideas, we can, the group here, me, Loiane, and all of you that are watching us, we can spend here 5 minutes and came with hundreds of ideas of products that some of them might exist, some of them will not exist. And ideas are easy. The hard part is actually making the idea work. So having an idea to create a new blog that no one else, about a subject that no one else wrote, it's easy. Now, creating the content and making the blog work, it's hard. Having an idea to create a new software, easy. A new service, easy. Writing the software to run the service, that's the hard part. Now, every time you try to do it alone, it means that you have to learn everything related to that thing, right? And you have to learn the technology, you have to learn how to talk with people, you have to learn how to talk with investors, you have to learn how to talk you have to learn customers, you have to do everything alone, right? And every time you do it alone, the chances are that things are not going to happen, right? So Y Combinator, for example, is one of the most famous incubators for startups. And if you take a look at the rules, they say, you can't apply for Y Combinator if you don't have a team of at least 3 people. They do have exceptions. They do accept sometimes someone that has only 2 people. They very, very rarely accept someone alone, right? Because doing it together is doing it alone is very hard. And the more you actually do with other people. So for example, simple examples. Every time I'm going to give a talk, I invite someone to give a talk with me, right? It's better. Sometimes I got the talk approved at an event. I invite a friend to come with me and give the same talk with me. Oh, come on, Bruno, you have a talk approved at the event. Why are you going to share this stage with someone? Why don't you get all the spotlight? Because it's not worth, right? It's better if I have someone else with me. It's going to be more interesting. It's going to be easier for us to do it together. The same thing as projects, open source projects, your GitHub account, right? Do things with other people. So, Loiane, work a lot with others, or you prefer to work alone? How do you handle all these things?
Professionally, I also work on teams. Because we have big projects and you can do that all alone. But these personal projects, I usually do by my own, because I do it in my free time, and sometimes I do it 11 p.m. on Saturday or my Sundays or late at night. But that's usually how I work. But always keep contact with people, with the community. So we have a Facebook page and WhatsApp or Telegram groups. So we keep in touch with other people to know what they are doing and if they can help. And I have some GitHub repositories that it's a collaboration, and so we can do projects together. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But do you participate on any open source projects, Loiane, or only the projects that you work on?
No, we have some initiatives to translate documentations from some technologies. So it's a big group, and someone does the translation. Sometimes you review the translation. So there are a couple of projects. There are other one that we have, we create a simple project, so let everyone collaborate on one functionality with the project, so we can have a sample to share with other people, and sometimes do some pull requests on some other open source projects as well. This is a way also for you to collaborate, even if you're not in the core team of the project. You can maybe do a pull request just to fix a typo in the documentation, or help creating a new page for the documentation or anything like that. So, yeah.
Cool. Very cool. So actually, there's a question that someone made a comment here saying that, you know, I don't see the comment anymore. But, oh, here, Thiago said a good opportunity to experience other languages and other technology in general is in the open source world, right? So every time you participate on open source, now, one of the things that participate on open source, you're immediately not doing it alone, right? A lot of people want to participate in open source and they want to create their own projects and they do everything themselves. It's much easier, much better if you work with someone else in a project, right? So, you know, so don't do it alone. Go work on someone else's project. And Loiane gave some good examples of things you can do that are easy to do in any project, right? You know, helping on translation, helping improve documentation, help to improve the promotion of the project. Those are simple things that you can do that really can improve. Now, Gabrielle has an amazing question. I'm going to answer Milton in a minute, but Gabrielle has an amazing question. Any tips to help the Java community? If you take a look at this whole things here, yes, you know, once you start to participate, once you start to sharing, once you're not doing it alone, you're already helping the Java community, right? Because you are, you know, working with others, you're sharing the knowledge, you are teaching for other people things that they need to know. So you're already sharing, right? You know, you're already helping the community. So a good way for doing this is participate on Java user groups, right? So join a local user group. It's a great place for you to learn, for you to do networking, for you to every time you go to Java user group meeting, you use your phrase, right? So yes, every time you're sharing, you're already helping the community, right? Now, Milton asking here, what are the 5 mistakes, right? So let's do it. So yeah, so do it alone. So don't do it alone. You know, have focus on your career, right? You know, share what you know as much as possible, and do not focus only on technology, okay? And practice your tools. Right? Those are the 5, you know, among the 5 biggest mistakes that I see Java developers making. Now, let me quickly talk about open source here, and you talk about not only technology. Let me just really quick share my screen here. Oops. Let me really quick share my screen here, because I want to show you guys one thing real quick. I posted this on my Twitter yesterday, and this here, let me just get here to my screen. So this here is oops, sorry. Actually, this here is the guy that he became a GitHub trending developer, right? You know, he has like thousands of likes in his GitHub repositories. I mean, you can take a look at this guy and say, whoa, this is such a great guy, right? You know, oh man, I would love to be like him. We're not talking about, you know, he has lots of likes in his blog. You know, he's talking about lots of likes in his GitHub account, right? You know, this is the perfect guy that you like to work with him. You like to hire him, right? There's another guy here that he has, you know, how I got 1,000 stars on my GitHub project, right? You know, actually, one of these guys, this guy here, Andrea, he referenced the other one, right? So let's quick take a look at what those 2 guys did that they think are really important, right? Let's say here the receipt of this first one here. Choose the right project. You're not even talking about creating your own project. Choose the right project. Make it easy to use. That's technology, right? Make it easy to use. Now, in bold lines here, write the best README you can. That's not technology anymore, right? That's other skills. That's more than technology. It's writing a good README. It's marketing, right? You know, you're focused on writing something that attracts people. Share in the right places. You know, participate on Facebook, on Twitter, on places like this. Share in the right places, right? Really, really important. And then, you know, he has some tips about going on GitHub training and optimizing for Google search. Keep growing, right? So you see, that's not only technology that's made this guy what he is, right? Now, the other guy, Richard, right? Let's see here his secret sauce, the step sauce, the 6 steps. Notice that he says the secret sauce is in 4 to 6, right? So projects are everything. You have to have a good project. That's technology, right? Search, right? You got to learn. You got to learn a lot. Build the repository. He has some tips on how you build a repository. Now, he says the secret sauce is 4 to 6. Write a good README. So he has some tips on how. That's marketing, right? Create good graphics about your project. That's marketing again, right? And then have a feedback loop. Talk to people. So, you know, answer questions, talk to people, get people to understand what you're saying. So this is, it's networking. It's social networking. So, you know, here are good examples of, you know, so here are good examples you can see that if you only focus on technology, you're actually missing a huge opportunity of doing things, right? So, you know, of course, technology is important. Of course, learning what you need to learn is important, but you got to have some ideas, you know, more participation, more ideas, and more contributions everywhere, right? So Loiane, I'm talking here about GitHub. Do you use GitHub a lot, and do you have projects there that people can actually follow you and see your source code?
Yes, I have a few projects and some collaborations there as well. I'm actually active in GitHub since 2009, so it's been a while. Okay,
very, very cool. All right, so that's a good thing. Now, let's try to go back here. I think that's we went through. We have about 20. We like to do this 1 hour and a half, so we have about 20 minutes more. I think we've kind of answered most of the questions, but let's kind of go back here and see. So Jonathan asked, did you say something about flow of thinking? No, we call this being in the flow. Being in the flow is being on that, or people call also the zone, right? Is being on that state of mind where you are very productive. You're doing what you like. You have no interruptions. You're just kind of, you're in that state that you don't see time passing. You don't feel tired. You don't keep thinking and, oh man, do I need to do this? You're just doing it, right? So all creative work, this flow state or this zone state, where you kind of lose yourself into your work, right? And I think everyone experience, every time you experience the flow, you come back like, oh man, I had an amazing day today. Now, the problem with the flow is that the flow is really easily broken. Really, really easy. You're in the flow, you're actually doing it, you're liking it, and then the phone rings. And then you answer the phone, and when you come back, it's like your flow is gone. You have to rethink, you have to try to come back. And so being in the flow is good, right? But to do this, we need to practice a lot, because we can't be self-interrupting us all the time. You need to learn how to switch off your email or your notifications or whatever it is that you can disconnect, right? To not be interrupted. Or it doesn't matter, if there's pop-ups coming up in your window and you just ignore them, that's okay too, right? A lot of people are able to do this. I'm actually very good on just ignoring things. You know, even if the phone rings, I can easily ignore. I think that's because for a long time I was working from home with two kids at home, and I kind of learned to concentrate even if the house was catching fire. Right? So maybe that's some form of quality that I got out of that. But but some people are not. You know, some people, my wife, for example, if the phone rings, she stops everything to answer the phone, and so once you do this, your flow is gone, right? So being in the flow, it's a good thing. So do you have any tricks, Loiane, to actually get in the flow?
I usually listen to some music, so I don't listen to anything else, and just mute the music and whatever I'm doing.
Okay, so one question: do you work from home or do you work in the office? Is this background that we see there in you with lots of Star Wars characters and everything is your house or your office?
It's my home office. I usually work at home, and once a week I go to the office to meet with other colleagues and have a coffee. And yeah, but I work from home for 4 years now, working from home.
That's really cool. So those days we had a discussion on Facebook with some friends, and Ono Klute, that was the previous chair of this JCP. He actually complained about the shared space, right? Shared office. Those big tables where everyone works together. There's no walls and everything. And that's actually one of the things. He was like, I wish we could go back to have one office for each person. And that's when you go to the office, do you have like a shared space or do you have your own office? And if you have a shared space, that's why it's actually better to work at home, because at home you're more you have your own space. How does that work for you?
It's a shared space, so because we don't have a designated desk, so we sit home. You're not available to do other things except working, and even your dog or your cat, because they think you're at home, they want to play with you. So there is a learning process at the beginning as well, but I don't have any TV here at this room. It's only my computer and my husband's computer back there, and it's only the computer, so we can focus on whatever we're doing.
Right. That's really cool. Really nice. I also work from home. This is just a background here, so you don't need to see all my mess, but I also work from home. And for me, the good thing, I'm just gonna point the camera there a little bit, but no, the good thing is that I can have like a nice I can go out and walk a little bit when I need to think and everything. So it's a good ways for us to actually create our own space, right? And a lot of times we need this space so we can focus on our work, right? Okay, so let's see what else. So I think you kind of hinted this a little bit, but Balzur asks, the Java is quite a big ecosystem, right? Where do I start? I think you answered this question. There's a similar one that says, we can kind of answer those two. What we should learn, right? How do you keep up with the technology, right? When I study Java 8, Java 9 is on the way, and the truth is that we do live in, and that's our career is a career that things change very fast, right? There's lots of careers out there that once you learn something, it stays the same thing forever, right? You don't need to be relearning things all the time, right? But our career, we do need to keep up to date with technology. This question that I get is, and I'm going to ask this to Loiane. So Loiane, you need to keep up to date. Does your employer gives you the time to get up to date, updated on technology, or you have to find your own time?
No, I have to find my own time.
Yes, and people ask me, "Come on, this is bad, right?" What does it mean I have to find my own time? And my answer is, it's your career. It's your career, right? What are you going to do if your employer doesn't give you the time to improve, to practice? Are you just going to depend on they decided when you're going to practice or when you're going to improve? Or are you going to be responsible for your career and you're going to find whatever time you need, right? you know, this is one of the best careers in the world. We can work for anyone. We can work for any kind of industry. We can work on any project we want, right? We can work from home. We can work on the office, whatever we want to do. There's no shortage of jobs. There's no shortage of good projects, right? There's a lot of opportunities. So are you going to invest in your career and be an awesome developer? Or are you going to be depending on your boss telling you to invest in your career? Or are you going to be depending on your company to give you the time to be the best developers you can be? So, you know, we got to find the time. You know, people like Loiane and Haynes and everyone I'm interviewing here in this series, all of them, they find their own time to be the awesome developer they deserve and they want to be, right? So I think this is true for all of us. And you know, if that's not something you want to do, that's okay. Maybe you can, you know, so maybe you have to just not grow in your career if that's what you want. But I think you're here because you want to grow in your career. So yes, we got to find the time. We got to find not only the time, sometimes the money, right? If your employee doesn't pay you to go to a training course, maybe you are going to pay. If your employee doesn't buy the tool that you want, that you're going to make you a better developer, maybe you go and buy the tool that you need, right? We got to invest whatever we can, be it time or money or our personal time, whatever that we have, we got to invest to improve our careers. Otherwise, you know, it's your career, so it's your responsibility. No one will be responsible for your career but yourself, right? So if you don't invest, be sure that no one else will invest. So you decide if you're going to wait or you're going to do it. Right? Let me see. So Beta asks, you know, should intermediate level Java programmers spend time learning Scala or Kotlin or any other language, by the way, right? To learn functional programming or to learn whatever other languages have, or, you know, they need to improve Java only. What do you think, Loiane?
There is always room to learn some more. You can always learn other things. And because the Java system is not only about Java, I work with a full stack development, so I also work with HTML5 and JavaScript, sometimes even more that I work with Java. And you have database skills that you need. Depending on what you do, you'll need web server skills. And we have different paradigms. We have the structural programming, the object-oriented programming. Now we also have the functional programming that it's a hype. So you're going to learn with different languages. And this is also good for your career because you need to be able to work with different things, because a programming language is only a tool to solve a problem, and you can have different problems and you have different tools. You need to know which tool to use to solve different problems, different situations.
Really, really cool. So, you know, I think that's the one interesting thing about, remember when we said that sharing actually helps your brain to learn? And every time you learn another language, it helps your brain to learn better the language that you use most. It's kind of weird, but yes, when you see different ways of doing the same thing, you actually improve the way you do in all languages, right? So by learning other languages, and it doesn't need to be like, oh man, I'm gonna, well, if you want to focus on another language, that's good too. It's not bad, but you know, but just by learning a little bit other languages and doing a small project and maybe trying to solve one simple problem, for example, or trying to like do one kind of thing in another language, it helps you both understand how Java does things. It helps you appreciate how Java does things, right? Because even when Java does worse than other languages, you at least understand why better, right? And so it helps you be a better Java developer because you have more experience with languages. The same way that, you know, some of you here, someone said here somewhere that an advantage of being Brazilian is that you can generate content in more than one language. Come on, you know, we have lots of Europeans in the call. and most Europeans speak several languages, right? We Brazilians just speak two at most when we speak English, right? So the interesting thing is, once you learn several languages, you're actually better in learning more languages because you know several languages. That's true for your life because it's hit the brain the right place, right? It's also true for programming languages, right? So learning other languages is not a bad idea. It's also good. Now if the question is more like, oh, should I change my language and focus on another language? Yes, you can do that too. It's not bad that if you like another language more, and you can go deeper. Now, the biggest advantage of the Java languages is the ecosystem that it has and the opportunity in working on all kinds of different projects. So not every language gives you this opportunity, but maybe by being a specialist in a rarely used language, you can actually earn more money because you are like the top guy in some other language. So that's I think that's a career decision. It helps a lot if you have a focus, right? And you're going to help you to find out if you should learn more Java or try to learn other language. That depends on your focus, I guess. So Pedro asked this: what to do when projects get really big, right? And then he complains here that his projects take like 5 minutes to build, 5 minutes to deploy, right? I'm losing 10 minutes. So first of all, let me tell you one thing. There's some things you just can't change like this, right? Yes, someone, Christopher, gave some ideas, just kind of doing some metrics in your project to see if you can split in different things, if you can have like libraries that you can join instead of compiling everything, or there's different things that you can do to speed up your deployment, your compilation process. Maybe you're taking too long because you're running lots of tests. So you can, instead of running lots of interface tests, you should focus on more unit tests that speed things up. So there's lots of little things, technology things that you can do to speed up your project. Now, what if your project is the way it is and you have to lose 10 minutes? Go practice, right? Do not complain that your company doesn't give you time to practice, because you just get those 10 minutes, and instead of going get a coffee and throw, just talk with people in the hallway, sit down and spend 10 minutes improving your knowledge of IDE. Spend 10 minutes improving your knowledge of Java. Do a code kata in 10 minutes, right? Use that time to practice. The more, you don't need to have more time in your day. You got to use your time better, right? And 10 minutes, it's a huge amount of time for you to practice one skill, right? So in 10 minutes, you can record a webcast, right? You press compile, and then you turn on your camera, record a webcast, says upload, go back to your project. After a week, you have 5 webcasts published on YouTube. After a year, you have 200 webcasts on YouTube, and you are one of the top Java developers in the world because everyone knows you, right? Use that time wisely, I guess. What do you think, Loiane?
Yes, well said. What you mentioned, 15 minutes, you can do something, publish, and by the end of the year, you have several content published.
Yes. Okay. All right. Cool. Now, people mentioned about Sonar Cube, and I'm gonna send. I know all of you are on our list, the Career Secrets list. I'm gonna send you over email, probably not tomorrow, but early next week. I'm gonna send you because we have a series of open source tools like Sonar, Jenkins, Redmine, all kinds of tools that you can use freely in your computer. So I'm going to send that to you because you mentioned Sonar here, and if you don't use Sonar, if you don't use Jenkins, maybe it's a good thing for your career if you can easily download, can easily have access to a set of tools. I'm not going to give you a URL right now because the URL I have, teaching you how to download and use those free tools. It's in Portuguese, so I'm gonna do a new recording in English, and then I'm gonna send to you, right? So that's a good thing. Now, we only have a few minutes, and I'm kind of, before we say, say thank you and say goodbye, if Loiane will let me do this really quick. The one thing I would like to tell you guys is this week, right? It kind of, I started doing this career thing, and then realized that the same week I'm doing this, it's the last week for you to join the JCP. And we talk about community and things that you can do for your career. And one of the interesting things that you can do for your career is that you can become a Java citizen, right? You can become a JCP member. And why would you want to be a JCP member? Because once you're part of the JCP, you can vote on the elections. You can actually vote and decide the future of Java, right? So I'm just gonna take like 2 minutes here to show you. Let me just share my screen here really quick. I'm just taking 2 minutes here to show you. Oh, now where's my, here, there's my window here, to show you the things that you can, how you can join the JCP really quick. So if you come to the jcp.org, jcp.org website, you're gonna get, let me just go back here. So if you come to the jcp.org website, you're gonna get to this page right here, and you're gonna see, for example, that the AC elections are coming up. I'm just gonna increase the font a little bit here. So you can see the elections are coming up, and you can register for the site right here. But before you get registered to the site, there is this link, get involved and becoming a JCP member. Before becoming a JCP member was a complex process. You need to get your company to sign this big, scary legal document, thing like that. If you come to this page about becoming a JCP member, you're actually going to see all of these here, right? If you're a commercial organization, if you're a nonprofit, maybe for a Java user group, for example, you do have to sign the GSPA, this big legal document. Now, if you're an individual, yes, you can sign the big legal document if you want to, right? Now, but the first question here is, are you willing to sign this scary big legal document? And you can say no, right? Maybe you sign, maybe you want to sign in the future, but right now, you just want to learn how this thing works. You just want to be part of the JCP. You just want to be a Java citizen, right? Just say, no, I don't want to do this. So you can be an associate member, right? To be an associate member, you can come back here on the page. There's instruction for associate membership. You can click here, and there's a few steps here, right? So you register for the site. You just, you put your email, get an account. It's an Oracle single sign-on account, right? If you already have an Oracle single sign-on account to download Java, for example, you don't need to do anything. You already registered on the site. You log into your account, and then you fill out this form, right? It's a very simple form. Oh, I need to be logging in. I'm not gonna even go this just to not lose the time, but I need to be logging in. But you just sign a simple form. It's an online form. You fill it out with your name, your address, very, very basic things, and then you submit this, right? You're gonna get an email with your submission, and that's gonna be a PDF that you click on the link. It goes to your website. You sign it electronically, and then you submit, and that's it. It's completely free. That's all you need to do. It's not a big legal document. It's a very, very simple document that basically says that you want to participate, and there's a few things that you need to know. Your boss doesn't need your boss doesn't need to sign it. Your company doesn't need to approve, right? Unless your company is already a member of the JCP. That's a different thing, right? So if your company is not a member of the JCP, you can just join in and sign. So in 5 minutes, really, in 5 minutes, you can be a member of JCP. Now, why I'm stressing this week? Because tomorrow, the 27th of October, is the last day for you to join the JCP and still vote on these elections, right? So we're going to have an election on November 1st. Anyone that joined JCP until the 27th can vote in the election. So, yes, you can just join next week, or you can just join on Friday. That's not a problem. But then you lose the elections right now, right? Why are you going to just wait for the elections for next year? When you can just be part of it right now. So it takes 5 minutes. I really think you could do this. and you become a Java citizen because you get the right to vote, and you can participate on all the activities of the JCP. I think it's a cool thing to do. And since we're talking about career this week, once you join the JCP, you're gonna join. I'm at the JCP. I'm not sure. I'm gonna ask Loiane. Loiane, actually, the company that Loiane works for is on the executive committee of the JCP. So she is on the JCP because every employee of her company can participate in JCP. So once you're part of the JCP, you can join all of us, right? And you can work in the same place that we work, and we can all work together on improving Java. So I think it's a cool thing for your career, right? And now there's some more comments here. And so, go join JCP. It's really cool. jcp.org. Go there really quick, right? So Gabriel says he's a freelancer and he can't think about staying stagnant. That's right. Milton says, yeah, we got to make our time. That's really true. Gabriel says, can you do the same webinar in Portuguese for the Brazilian community? So Gabriel, we already have this, the same discussion we already did in Portuguese. I published on my Twitter today links for that me and Edson talk about career. So you already have this in Portuguese. We're trying to do here, actually talk about more things. Vinicius says, I want to start my career in Java. I'm a web developer. What can I do about the next steps? Well, we talk about lots of things here for next steps, right? I think that you gotta first thing first, right? Let me get back here. First thing first, practice your tools, right? Start practicing your tools. That's the first thing you got to do, Vinicius. You practice your tools. Now, the other thing is, even if you're just starting, share whatever you know, share whatever you learn. And the other thing is, that important thing, don't do it alone, right? Go join a Java user group and go learn Java together with other people. Don't do it alone, right? And then have focus. Even if you're just starting, create your own phrase. I help people do this so they can have that, right? Create your own phrase and find out what focus you have. That way, you can do this. And last thing, remember that to improve your career is not only technology, right? Technology is important, but you got to go to events. You gotta have discuss things with your friends on social network. It's an important thing, right? Lots of people do social networking, and they think that social networking is a place where they can say something. Social networking is also your professional place. It's a place where your friends, your developer friends, will gonna meet you. So do discussions on your social network that are related to your career. Don't just do discussions about, don't just talk about soccer or sports or whatever, right? Don't just do the personal thing. Do your career discussions also on social network. And since we're talking about social network, be careful what you post, right? Lots of people post everything, especially on election time. I know the U.S. election is going on. I know, Brazil had like the impeachment of the president. At those times, people think that social network is a place for you to be bold and you talk about all the things and you yell at other people because they don't believe the same things that you do and do all those things. Be respectful all the time, because what you put in your social network will come back to haunt you. Will show you're not able to discuss politics in a polite and respectful way. Why are you able to discuss computers and technology and development in a polite and respectful way, right? So those things are going to come back and haunt you, right? Okay, so I think this is good. We're past time already here. So Loiane, do you have some last messages?
I believe you said everything already. Just review the 5 steps, but just keep focused, one step at a time. That's also important, and try to do everything at the same time. Keep focused and set your goals, what you want to do next, what you want to learn next, what conferences do you want to go. I also have my goals to the conference that I want to go. I want to participate, and that's it. Create your GitHub account. If you don't have a blog already, go and create one. There are several free tools that you can use. You can use WordPress, Blogger. We have Medium. You can even use GitHub to host your own blog. You're going to do two things at the same time. So, yeah.
Okay, very cool. So Vinicius says here that he's already took his first step, right? He's signing up for the JCP, right? Remember, I'm not sure exactly what Vinicius did, but remember, it's not just register for the website. Go do the whole process, right? Go register for the JCP itself. Become a member of JCP. It's completely free. It's easy, right? Doesn't require an approval from your company. It's an amazing way for you to get involved. Okay, so thanks everyone. I know we're past the time here. I don't see any other questions that we missed. I like to stay here as long as there's questions, right? So I don't think so. I'd like to, yes. So Fernando says, great, Vinicius. So I'd like to congratulate Vinicius. Vinicius, you did. Let me tell you one thing for everyone, right? Every time you hear something important from someone or from a mentor or for someone that you like, or you read, you heard what Loiane said and things like that. Every time you hear something from someone, 5 seconds after that, your brain starts saying, no, don't do this. It's not good for you. It's not going to work. Oh, those guys, they live in Brazil. Don't trust them, right? 5 seconds. It takes 5 seconds. So Pedro has one last question. Come on, Pedro, tell us why I'm here talking. So you have 5 seconds to take an action, because after 5 seconds, your brain starts saying no. So there's a phrase here that I like that says, everything that's important for you, you have to force yourself to do it. Otherwise, your brain is going to tell you not to do it. So if you think join the JCP could be an important step, just do it right now, right? Open the page right now. When this thing finish, just do it, right? So Milton saying ego. Yes, be careful with your ego, right? That's why when you share, be careful with your ego, right? So Pedro says, I was hired to work on a very small team, large project, in very tight schedule. By the time I got in, the project was in a state of technical depth. That's okay. It happens. Most projects are in a state of technical depth. Every time I point out something that can be improved in any sense, they say, oh, you're right, but right now we can't do this. What's your opinion on this? Right. So someone earlier mentioned sonar, right? Sonar gives you an idea of the technical depth that you are in. So the important thing of this is that you got to bring transparency and to what's going on, because technical depth will bite you, right? The more technical depth you have, the harder it's going to be to implement a new feature. The harder it's going to be for you to solve a problem. So the more technical depth your project has, the worse you are in. So if you bring visibility to your project, it doesn't need to solve the technical depth, but track it, right? Start showing people how it's getting worse, or how it's getting better. Track the technical depth, right? So install Sonar in your machine. I'm going to send you an email with how you can do this with one command. One command, install Sonar, Jenkins, Nexus, Redmine, everything for you up and running in one command. I'm going to teach you how to do this over email, right? So get your team to start running, to understand how the technical depth is. So that's the only way for you to actually get someone to approve the time that you need to fix things. Okay, so I think we're out of time here, but well, actually, Loiane, what do you think? You work in a project in a large company. What can you do?
There are the tools that you mentioned, but this is always an issue. This is a common issue in very projects, especially in large projects. What we usually do, because we also have the same thing, also passed for the same thing, is try set internal goals. Try changing one small piece at a time until you are able to get out of this situation. Don't try to do, because you can stop delivering what you have to deliver, so you can stop and fix whatever needs to be fixed, but small pieces, one each at a time, until you have the solution that you need for your project. That's what we usually do. And we set our goals as our results, delivering results goals for ourselves where we work at. So it's a way for you to be able, and you have to solve that in that year.
Okay, really cool. Thanks. Excellent. So we're totally out of time here, but thanks everyone for the questions. I really loved what Binian said, and thank you so much. We've changed my career in life. I hope that's, but it's not us that we're going to change your career. It's that you, once you take responsibility for your career, I'm sure you're going to change. You're going to change your career in your life, right? And Pedro said thanks a lot. This has been very invigorating. Thanks a lot. So the last thing I'm going to ask you is that we really want to help more developers, right? So someone asked, is this video going to be available online? Yes, it will. Right after I finish this, I'm going to put on the Career Secrets website. So, I'm going to write here, actually, the URL. So it's code4.life/career secrets, right? So once you, oops, I'm sorry, that's wrong. Can I erase this? Yes, erase this line. Okay, right. So, okay, again, HTTP code4.life/career secrets. Okay, now I typed it wrong. Okay, so career, so this video is going to be there in Career Secrets, so you can go there and take a look. And I'm going to ask you one favor. If you liked this, right? By the way, there were some questions. I just remember that there were some questions that people were asked on the forum. I'm gonna answer that over email, guys, because we are out of time. Well, can we just go really quick, because I like to answer the questions that people asking on the forum, because Loiane, do you have one more minutes?
Yeah, sure.
We can go. Yeah. Okay. So yes, because people ask. There's 3 quick questions asked on the forum, and let me just quickly go answer them. Actually, there's 5. There's 5 questions. Okay. So Doug asks, what's his biggest doubt or fear for is becoming outdated with old technology? I think we mentioned a little bit about this, right, Loiane?
Yes, we have covered that.
Yeah. So do you want to remind us what
As we mentioned, just keep a focus. You can do a list of what you have to learn next, what you need to learn, and learn one thing at a time, small steps, until you have all you wanted to learn, until you learn whatever you want to learn. And you can't just, I want to learn everything at one time. That doesn't work. So just keep focus, one step at a time.
Cool. All right. So Pedro asks, that's his biggest problem. His biggest dream is being able to build big, good, scalable, good-looking software, right? And his biggest fear is not being able to manage the software he builds. And so I think we talk a little bit about this, and he asked similar questions here online. I think that you're going to need to handle your technical debt, and Sonar could be a very, very good friend for you in these regards. Okay. So now Davi asks, he wants to find meaningful work that he enjoys, and so he wants to find his first entry-level job. So you have any tips for finding first-level job, Loiane, since you do have a training course about learning Java, right? So you probably get this question a lot, don't you?
Yes. This thing regarding the first job, it's a little bit complicated for everyone, I believe. Yeah. If you are in college, there is a plus, because usually colleges work with companies. They have a partnership, and that's good for both. So if you are in college, that's one thing that you can talk to your college coordinator to see if he or she can help you. Otherwise, as we mentioned, start a blog, start a GitHub, and start creating a kind of a portfolio for yourself so you can present, because we know that it's a little bit difficult nowadays. Companies are requiring experience for interns, especially here in Brazil. Yes. And it's kind of a deadlock. You need to have experience so you can have your first job, and that's difficult. So start a blog post, start sharing your examples on GitHub, or start contributing to other projects. Share what you learn. You can also create a channel on GitHub. Don't worry if people are going to watch you or people are going to access your blog at first. Just make sure that you are sharing. It's kind of like a personal journal, and that helps a lot. In your resume, if you don't have an experience, at least you'll have those things that can help you.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so last things, you can come to codefor.live/career secrets, and let me ask you one thing. If all the answers here was useful for you, first of all, at Career Secrets Code for Life, I'm answering all the questions over email. So send me your questions over email. If you register for Career Secrets, you get an email from me, and just reply to that email, ask whatever question you have. I'm answering all the career questions this week, and because I want to help you. Thought this was useful. Can you please share that link, codeforlife.careersecrets, on your Twitter account, on your Facebook account, to your friends in your work? Because once you share, this has two purposes. Once, gets you in the mood of sharing. If that was good for you, it's going to be good for your friends. So share with them. They're going to like you because you're sharing good things with them. That's one thing, right? And the other thing is that you're going to bring more people here, and you're going to actually improve their lives, right? So it's a win-win for everyone, right? So, please help us out by sharing this on your Facebook, on your Twitter, and that's gonna be very helpful for everyone. Okay, so I'd like to thank Loiane a lot. It's amazing to have you here. For me, it's a huge honor to have such an amazing person on the Java community, to be here and spend your time and sharing things with us. I know lots of people thank you for sharing, but I'm sure everyone that watches this and that will watch this in the future, thanks a lot for you to be here. Thanks a lot, Loiane.
Thank you, Bruno, for the opportunity, and it was a huge honor for me too, because you are one of the person that I most admire in the Java community as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so thanks everyone, and thanks for you for being here, right? You are making strong steps to improve your career, and that's what we want. We want every Java developer to be the best developers they can be, and they want to be, and because that will just make the Java community much stronger and will make everyone's lives better. So thanks for being here, and I hope you can follow us on Code for Life on Career Secrets, because we're gonna keep sending you good stuff. And remember that tomorrow we're gonna have Heinz Kabutz. He is the writer of the Java Specialist newsletter. He's gonna be here live discussing those same things with us, answering questions like Loiane did. So join us tomorrow to do the same thing. Tomorrow we're gonna do a little review of the same the 5 bugs, and then Heinz we're gonna come in and answer questions like Loiane did. So thanks a lot for every one of you. Thanks Victor, Milton, Rogério, Abdunur, Bera, Pedro, and Binian. Thanks everyone for being here. Thanks a lot, Loiane. See you.